The march of war continues. That's right. There are so many good games. There's so many good games. We're drowning in it. I'm Stevie B. This is the title screen. Here, as always, with my good buddy, Benny
D.
The Fever. I got a little ahead of myself. I'm like your hype man, Ben. I just can't help myself. I gotta beat you on the way to the ring and just announce it.
You're just running the tables over there.
I'm so sorry. I'll hand the poker chips back over to Ben.
Well, this has been a sufficient, great start to this podcast. There are so many good games. Are there not right now? Like,
there are millions of them. In fact,
many millions of games this year.
There are millions of them. And for the first time, I've had to make difficult choices about which ones to actually play. It's not like when I first bought my PS4 and there was one game to play. It was like, all right, let's play Destiny this month, and then maybe 3 months from now I'll play Shadows of Mordor, and that's it. No.
Right.
Like, after that year, the PS4 hit peak maturation, and now this year, it's just absolutely wild, especially with the system exclusives. I had to choose between, I think, it was Zelda, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Nier Automata for my main courses, and I can only really pick Zelda and Nier so far, so that's where I'm up to.
I'm wondering if you'll ever get around to Horizon at this point.
It's gonna be a while. Because we've got some sumptuous new picks. Mass Effect next week. That was a joke out there, guys.
We're not allowed to cover that game. We shouldn't do it.
No, it's not sponsored content.
To say. Yeah. If BioWare comes up to us and says, "Hey, we want you guys to talk about our game," maybe then we'll talk about their game.
Full disclosure, everybody. Yeah, if they paid us, then we're going to talk about it. But as
it's the faces, man. I just can't get past the faces.
Yeah.
Gnarly showing. And it dominated the news this week, which is kind of sad to think about. Like, that game hasn't come out yet. People are highly anticipating it, and like the first run of news prior to release is like this slew of just shit. And that's the world we live in.
You know what? I'll take that world over the rest of the game-related shit happening in the last few months. I'm not going to mention anything, but it's depressing. I'll take that over whatever like YouTube thing is going on, because I've had enough of that.
Oh God, it's nuts. Done with that.
We're all about the power of positive thinking here, and right now
it's true.
We're gonna take a hard turn into some positive shit. Ben,
this is a good idea.
You've been waiting to talk about this game forever. Ben is just bursting at the seams. He loves this game. He finished it, I think, twice. I think he finished it twice.
I'm not done with the second playthrough.
All right,
but there is promise of a third.
Oh, very nice. See, I'm halfway through my first playthrough. Ben is 1.5. This is Night in the Woods. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
We've been vague enough about the title here.
Yeah.
Night in the Woods. Dude, this game is so good. So, do a little premise. Like, the game is first off, it's published by Finji, and it was developed by Infinite Fall. They go by IF. So, that actually is like a team of technically 2 people, and like the musical composer did some development as well, but he might also, I'm not sure if that was his like professional thing. Anyway, it is this wonderful game that looks kind of like construction paper cutout characters that are fully mobile. You know, stunning art style.
It's a very unique art style. It definitely it looks quasi-animated. It does look like someone put it together with like little pieces. Like, I don't want to say it looks like very old South Park. It's very cleaned up. It's very professional looking. There's really nothing out there like it. Like, it looks very unique.
It's a good distinction to make that, like, early South Park was very construction paper cutout style. This is like, it's like a play on that. It's very smooth. You don't have much, like, they don't have like the construction paper texture, basically. But yeah, you play as 20-year-old May, who is a cat. So all your characters in this game are anthropomorphic and humorously enough, they actually have pet animals as well, which raises a lot
I
of
love
questions.
that. Somebody asked the developer about that, and they just had nothing to say.
No, they had nothing to say. Well, but like, would you want to say anything? I think it's better to leave it as just this like silly mystery. But they also talk about themselves like they're human in a weird way. Like they make mention of their animal nature, but they also lead these lives that are very human, and that's actually part of what makes this game so great is the very natural human nature and like the natural flow in the dialogue that it really drives a lot of its points home, and it makes the characters lovable and detestable at times, but it makes you feel those things so strongly. At least it did for me. And I found that this game is very rewarding play. But yeah, you play as 20-year-old May, who just left
just dropped
college.
Out of college, yeah.
Yep, moving back home to pretty much nowhere America, middle America. And she moves back into this town that is like her hometown has changed a lot. It's been almost 2 years, and she is noticing, and like there's bits of it in the story that occur throughout the game that like there are businesses that are failing, and like the town is kind of collapsing. It's it was a miner town, and like they've pretty much mined out all the coal and like lost all the jobs that were involved in that, and it just has this very very real tone set right off the bat.
Yeah, it's a very slice of life kind of thing. When you said, yeah, it's a mining town, she comes back and this place is absolutely falling apart. Everything is falling apart. Her life just did not go the way she thought it would. School did not work out. She comes home. Everything has changed from what she remembered. And that was what really, really struck me, especially as someone who remembers their post-college grad days. It was bouts with depression, mostly because of unemployment. Just like, what is my future going to be now? I've come back home, and this isn't what I remembered. That's magnified almost tenfold in this game, especially when you start digging deep into events that have transpired in the past. Her father lost his job at some point. Certain miners had been killed in like certain accidents.
Yep.
It's like that. Maybe that's a little bit of a spoiler, but you find out very easily. It's inferred very early, I think.
It's so hard to say what is and isn't a spoiler about this game, because it is all story. Like,
yeah.
The gameplay elements are minimal, and I think meant to be kind of relaxing in a way, even though I think that when you're talking about platforming, when you slow the pace down, it really only gets tedious. So one of my few gripes with the game is that, like, I think it took me 3 hours before I was like, I get it, I'm into this, I want to see what else. I mean, I wanted to play it no matter what, but I got to a point where I was questioning whether or not I really wanted to follow through with it, and god damn it, I'm so glad I did.
It absolutely gets better and better. Like, it builds upon each day that you wake up. You kind of go into town, you learn more about May's friends. She has kind of 3 or 4 main friends that you kind of hang out with, and sometimes you'll get the choice to hang out with one over the others, and whatever person you choose to develop your relationship with, that kind of stays with you. You make a note of it in your journal. You can't go back and get back the potential moments that you could have had in this book. And
which I think is one of the best and worst parts of the game, and I struggled with this for a while, is like, you would do a thing and it would autosave almost immediately right after, and you can't go back and do that thing differently. You have to play through the game at that point. You have to live with your decisions.
That's life.
Whether it's a dialogue entry or it's a way you handle the mini game. Like, that's life. It's like, hey, I guess the only real issue with that is that I really wanted so badly to see both sides, but I didn't want to play through a whole another 16-hour run, and here I am doing it again. So shows what I know there. It's great. I think that character building is so interesting because, I mean, Stardew Valley kind of has it because it's on a day cycle and you meet townspeople, but they're on a very rigid, repetitive dialogue tree or like story, and like they don't change unless you do certain things. And this is all about every day they have different dialogue, and sometimes based on what you did the day before, that dialogue might change. Like there's little subtleties like that, and the thing is, like in my second playthrough, I've noticed a lot of things that are different, but it's so subtle that you almost wouldn't notice. But like you make a decision and it doesn't like affect the actual story of the game. It affects like kind of your perception of the main character and her relationship to her friends and the townspeople, because their retorts and their dialogue back will be different. You might learn something that you didn't through a previous playthrough because you chose a dialogue that kind of cut it short. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Where was I going with it? Yeah, you had mentioned some gripes about there are these dream sequences in the game that start to unfold. I want to say maybe once you reach like the second or third day in the game, like May starts to have these very I wouldn't say, yeah, they're lucid because you're active lucid, in them.
Yeah.
Very
you're
lucid dreams.
In them. Things are
but
happening.
They're all platforming. Yeah. And it's all dark. You can't really see too much. And there are these street lamps that light your way as you walk through an area. And I'm kind of curious as to what it was that you didn't like about that.
Well, first of all, there's very light platforming in this game, especially during the daytime. You're mostly using that jump button just as like a shortcut to go upstairs or something. But there are some like power lines and little bridges you can kind of go out of your way to go on.
There's some secrets up there. You gotta just stick around a little bit.
Yeah. I found a few secrets. Yeah, I did some Assassin's Creed shit and I found some secrets. But in the dream sequences, you do have to do more platforming than you would in the daytime. It's pretty much required. You got to jump around a little bit. And what I didn't really like about the sequences was of the 4 or 5 that I've gone through, it almost always boiled down to going to the extreme 4 corners of the screen and then going back to the middle once I've activated 4 beacons. And that's fine, like, in the first few times, and I like that the music builds up and you're always adding a new instrument and new layers to this dream sequence.
Best part. That's exactly why I love it. I 100% see where you're coming from, and I totally agree. I think that, like, maybe they're a little bit long-winded, but the only reason that I can see for you having such long walks from one beacon to the next that would each time you reach a beacon there's a musician at it and then an instrument plays, as you were just saying, like it layers, it builds. And so once you get like 2, like it's really drawing it out a little bit, so you're really hearing the song as it builds. And I think that's really the only reason I could see for that. Like you're not doing any exploring. It's not like you're discovering anything in this area. But and I think that is a huge reason as to why I started to take notice of the soundtrack. It was especially in the first dream sequence where you encounter the musicians. The song is just so elegant. It's got this lilting tune to it, but it's like, it's got accordion in it, and it just, the string section just cut right through me, man. It was just, like at that moment, I really like clutched onto this game and like I wanted to hear more of it, and I wanted to see more interactions and discover some of those secrets, because the dreams sort of I mean, they play into the overall story. There's not really a whole lot to say about them because they're really just images.
Yeah, I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't gotten that far into it, I think. Yeah. But I think at this point we should probably talk about the there is kind of an overarching plot besides going back home and hanging out with your friends. There is a little bit of a spooky mystery in this game. Yeah.
Yes, and it is becoming kind of evident in our this current time period. I guess the zeitgeist is the like Stranger Things style story. You know, the Goonies ish adventures where it's a bunch of kids that kind of go off on a mysterious trip to discover something or to basically just go on an adventure, have something to tell. And this is definitely in that vein. There is somebody, something.
I think I know who it is. I don't. I'll have to ask people. You before or after this. I think I know what's going on.
Oh man, I have a feeling you have no idea.
No idea.
It took me by surprise, and that was like. It wasn't so important that this game had a very surprising ending. It wasn't. I didn't need an M. Night Shyamalan twist, but
you were dead the whole time. I'm sorry, everybody.
Right. There are these moments toward the end of the game, and I think you really reached it might be part 4. It's called The End, the whole final chapter, and it took me probably like 2 hours, and I was powering through at this point because I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
There's so many little things that happen, and you want to know. At that point, I needed to know what was really going on. And when I found out, I was like, well, what are they going to do about it? What's going to happen to them? What is the end game here? And it only got spookier and spookier until I guess until the very final moments of the game, really. But it does have a bit of an epilogue that was quite charming as well. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. It's so hard, but like, let's just say it's a bit of a ghost story. The one, nope, I'm not going to give that away. Man, I'm struggling here. There's so many elements. You find something that triggers the mystery end of the story, and it doesn't take very long. I think it's like day 1, day 2. You find something that starts the path of this. What is happening in this town? Why people are disappearing? Why are people disappearing? Why doesn't anybody care? Nobody's paying attention to this stuff, and that's May's goal. And nobody listens to her because she was a troublemaker. She it kind of continues to be in a lot of ways, and is very stubborn, and she never grew up is kind of the thing. Her friends, B, Greg, and Angus, they've all grown up and started doing things whether or not they wanted to. Like B takes over her dad's hardware store after her mom passes away, and her dad can't handle it anymore. Like stories like, oh man, that's such a deep part, but like, they've taken on these responsibilities, and May is just not there, and it is integral to her character how nobody pays attention to this, and it's so cool when it reaches its peak. So yeah, I'm sorry that I don't want to give away anything, people. I really hope that this inspires you to go play the game. But just know what you're getting into. Know it's going to be a slow ride, and it's a lot of reading and listening to dialogue. And make sure that you're ready to take the time to read each of those bits of dialogue, because
a lot of it's optional too. Like there's a lot of stuff you can potentially miss if you don't go out and kind of enjoy the atmosphere of the town and seek out a lot of the side characters. Like I don't think some events will play out if you don't take the time to seek out those previous characters. Like there's a poetry reading at one point, and I wasn't sure if I would have gotten that event if I didn't talk to that bear who reads poetry a lot. I'm not sure if that's a thing. Yeah.
I don't know if you get that or not otherwise, but yeah, that was a very good point. I might have some tech issues here, sorry. Hang on.
Hi everybody. While Ben's doing his tech stuff, I'd like to
Okay, we should be good.
I'd like to just announce that we have a new sponsor. It's Lexington Via Romo, Chinese-Italian restaurant fusion. It's in Penn Station. It's great. Lo mein with vodka sauce. It's disgusting. Oh, wait, did I say that on air? Well, there goes our sponsorship. We're back to being poor now, Ben. Anyway.
Well, that's okay. We got plenty more games to talk about for free.
We got our Mass Effect partnership, don't we? Hey, everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's right. BioWare is reaching out to us right now. That was the technical difficulty was a phone call from BioWare was coming in. I just had to have my secretary take it.
Ben's face was fucking up, so they had to call EA and make sure everything was okay.
Yep. Before we close out on Night in the Woods, there are a couple last things I wanted to tie up. There is a mini game in this game, so if you find that this gameplay is too slow and you're not getting anything out of it, guess what? There's a mini game, and it is exquisite. If you're into roguelike, right?
It's Rock Band.
What's that? It's Rock Band. Yeah. Oh my God, that is the thing in there.
It's Rock
Band. In fact, that is one of the harder mini games in the game. That's the spot I'm stuck at right now in my second playthrough.
I fucked up the Pumpkinhead song really bad.
That's the one I'm on, dude. It's so hard. I think you're meant to. I honestly think, especially your first playthrough, you're supposed to be really bad. You can't be surprisingly good. But no, the game I'm talking about is called Demon Tower, and it's something that you earn from getting through. I think you have to go through like a couple days worth of playing. It might be on the second day. But yeah, you get your laptop gets fixed, and then you have a game installed on it called Demon Tower, and you can play this game. It is an overhead view roguelike, like this dope little mini game that really you could probably spend more time on than the game itself.
It's Hyper Light Drifter for babies. Mm-hmm. Basically, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's a total baby time thing. But it's still dope. I guess the only other thing I wanted to bring up was the soundtrack. Again,
fantastic.
Excellent it is. The last soundtrack I played that was this good was Undertale, I want to say. Stardew Valley has a really good soundtrack, but I did play Undertale just a month and a half ago. Absolutely excellent. It brings out the emotional vibe of the game with or without it attached. So strongly suggest checking that out. The artist, it's Alec, I'm going to butcher his last name, Halauka, and he goes by Infinite Ammo. Go to Bandcamp and search Infinite Ammo or whatever it is, infiniteammo.bandcamp.com. But yeah, check that out because it is super dope. It's also on Steam now. They just updated the Steam so that if you make a purchase, you have the option now to purchase the game and the soundtrack together.
Why wouldn't you? Absolutely do it.
You absolutely should do that. Like it's worth the $5 they're going to charge you for it, maybe $10.
That's like half a sandwich.
Worth it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, dude, it's half a New York sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that half a sandwich. Are you really going to eat that whole sandwich? Come on.
That's half a meal. Yeah, that's nothing.
The music is really fun though. I really love the themes that come out when you're having fun with Greg. You get to smash light tubes in this game, which is a plus for me. He's a real stinker. You'll see. I built a robot with this guy. I smashed light bulbs with him, and he definitely has the best themes. I think the most. What am I going for? He has the most sprightly themes in the game, I think. Because he's the most fun-loving, I think, of your three friends. But that doesn't mean you should only hang out with him, because sometimes that can be a little boring. You know, this guy, he's too happy-go-lucky almost. You wanna turn it down a bit. Maybe hang out with your depressing crocodile friend. I don't know.
Yeah, B.
Most of the more interesting story beats came from hanging out with B, actually.
So my first playthrough, I significantly focused on B. I do wish that I had sided with one versus the other for the whole game, because you do it's amazing how if you miss even one day, how much you miss out of that character's story. Because right now I'm doing an all Greg run, and then that's why I want to do a third one is to do an all B run. Because there are things that I missed, like you mentioned these little mini stories about building a robot with Greg. Like I totally didn't catch that, so I went back and replayed it, and I got to do that, and it was really really fun. And you still build up the same way. Like if you skipped a day with Greg to hang out with B, the next day it's whatever that day's task is. It's not like you don't start Greg's story from scratch or whatever. Like it's if you miss it, you miss it. You have to go back and do it again. So
you never get that day back again, ever.
Exactly. It's like real fucking life.
What, you don't save state, Ben? What the fuck? I thought I was the only one who did that. What? You need to patch that in, man.
Oh, jeez. I could save myself a lot of grief if I did that.
Save state, load state, rewind. It's like one of those cheap emulator playthroughs, you know? Like those guys playing Donkey Kong Country speed running. Oh, save state. Oh, I'll load it again. It doesn't matter. But yeah, this game I'm not finished yet. I mean, obviously you finished it once. I'm about like halfway through and really enjoying it. I only play it when Haley's here too, because she enjoys watching everything unfold too. So we get to enjoy that together. It's fun to watch. It's as much fun to watch as it is to play. So it's really good for, you know, as much fun it is for one person as it is for two, as it is for three, or a whole group of people just to watch everything kind of unfold. You know? Yeah.
It was something I wanted to stream and just decided I couldn't do it unless I was willing to do a full playthrough stream.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, like I struggle with wanting to talk or not wanting to talk, and I don't know what people would prefer. And with a game like this, it would be really hard because part of the beauty of the game is like it's not anecdotes or things that a player can throw on top of it or tell you how they're doing this. It's just the game. And so I really struggle with doing story games on Steam on Twitch.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I know people like to watch that stuff, so I guess you got to get over it.
I just had a stupid, awful, amazing idea. You know how a lot of people when they do Let's Plays, they have a horrible habit of narrating what's on the screen, what's on the text. Even though we're all humans, we can read what's going on, but a lot of people have that predilection to narrate what's happening in a stupid ass voice. I think that's what you should do with your Twitch stream for Night in the Woods. Just give everyone a really annoying voice and just stick with it. Like everyone just talks like in a really deep voice, a really annoying voice. Just really, really
Damn it,
ruin
Steven,
it.
I want people to like this game.
Just go down the stairs, and your mother's just like, "Hey, hon."
Hey, hon.
May's just like, "What do you want?" Everything's weird. We'll talk tomorrow. Hank Azaria voices May, by the way, everybody. So if you're a fan of The Simpsons, you're gonna really like this. I think the guy who voices Bender voices Greg and B. It gets really fucking confusing, in my opinion. But
I don't know, man. He's pretty good at subtle variations.
Yeah, he was the Joker.
Did you really know that Bender was the same as Jake the dog? I had no idea.
He voiced the Joker in one of those Batman animated movies.
Yes, he actually is a really good voice actor. I shouldn't dog on this guy because it's John DiMaggio.
Yeah, that's it.
He is such a good voice actor. Yeah. He actually has done so many roles that you just wouldn't know of because like his voice is very distinct. I would imagine that Jake and Bender is probably close to his real voice, which is why those are so like distinct and recognizable. But it's amazing. Voice actors are incredible. I don't know if that SAG-AFTRA thing ever got figured out, but I guess I should have paid better attention.
Should have paid attention to that class in school, Ben.
Yeah, I guess so.
The SAG-AFTRA class.
I think we've done a pretty sufficient job of covering some side on the indie world.
if you don't like it now, kids, then you're never going to like it. Night in the Woods, it's out now. Buy it. We'll get a cut. We mentioned it, so now we're getting that sweet-ass sponsor money from IF Studios. Is it IF? Yeah, it's like
IF, yeah.
IF, yeah. So if you want us to eat, then give some money to IF. And that's the bottom line. I'm begging you.
All right, so you had a whole bunch of games on your roster.
My roster.
I'm itching to hear about these games.
You're gonna get to scratch that itch soon enough.
I have to scratch it so hard.
Oh,
I need one of those back scratcher things. The itch is in such an odd
sexy.
place.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's the small of the back. That's sexy.
Well, I had some difficult decisions to make. There were those 3 games which I mentioned, I think, on last time's podcast. There was Zelda, there was Nier, and there was Horizon Zero Dawn. And initially I planned to get all 3 of them in the Target deal, but Target sucks, and they didn't even carry any of those games, so I didn't really have a choice. So
that sucks so bad.
Yeah, they don't stock anything. They don't have anything that's new. It's like a fucking wasteland.
That doesn't make sense. You're in New York. They have things in New York.
I don't know about that. You got to go to GameStop.
Apparently, they don't have anything in New York.
No, Target doesn't care.
Status quo Target is not status quo in New York.
It's not. And so I made the decision. It was a kind of a spur of the moment decision to just get Zelda pretty much the day it came out. I just went to the local store and I picked it up.
And you did not get a Switch. You just went with the Wii U one.
I went with the Wii U. You can't get a Switch. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's
Nobody
true.
can get a Switch.
Nobody. But shortly, in a very small amount of time, twice as many people as initially were able to will be getting a Switch.
That's true. That's big news. Yeah, you heard it here first. News. They're going to be replenishing their stock. We're on the cutting edge.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, this is the CNN of podcasts. You motherfuckers are so lucky that you have us. How would you know? How would you know that Zelda is even out unless I told you? Like, there's no way.
Exactly. You haven't been hearing about it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Have you guys heard of Zelda? It's kind of a thing. I heard. I don't know.
But to be fair, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's great on Wii U. It's great. The graphical comparisons between that and the Switch edition are not that big a deal. Like, I think maybe there's more lighting effects on the Switch, but they perform pretty much around the same quality, the same frame rate, same everything really from what I've seen. And from what I've experienced on the Wii U, it's pretty smooth. But I'm going to have to back that ass up a little bit. I just want to have to... I have to have this disclaimer out right in the open. I don't care if this makes people angry. I don't give a shit about Zelda, all right?
Oh,
like,
off.
I'm killing the sacred cow right now on the altar. I don't give a shit about the Zelda franchise. Like, Ocarina of Time... God bless it. I'm sure it's a great game, but it's not on my short list for anything. I don't...
You never played it? Or did you just not like it?
I've played it. I played it, and I liked it. I enjoyed it, but it's not groundbreaking to me. Like, I don't know. I just felt like a lot of it was a chore. I've played Majora's Mask. I've played Link to the Past. I like the 2D top-down games. I think they're pretty good.
Same.
But, I never finished Twilight Princess. I hated Skyward Sword. I thought that was absolutely terrible. Like, the way they streamlined everything. It's just not my cup of tea. So I'm not a big Zelda guy. I'm more of a Mario and Metroid kind of guy. Like,
this is news to me, by the way. I had no idea you were not a Zelda guy.
He's like, fuck this.
Repulsed. No, it's actually kind of funny. I was talking about this the other day. I have maybe beaten 3 or 4 Zelda games, but I've never really Ocarina of Time I didn't play until much later on in my life. I did respect the game when it came out, but I could see from the perspective of reviewers and stuff why they see it as a groundbreaking game. But I could see where you're coming from as well. Like, at that point, it came a little bit late. It wasn't like a launch title for N64 or anything, so we are already well versed in 3D platformers and open world games were starting to become a thing. But yeah, I mean, with a game like that, it's hard to avoid the tasky, chorey vibe. But it kind of started that whole, I don't know, it forged the checklists thing.
And it has a reputation, you know, its reputation precedes it. Like, oh, this is Zelda. It's going to be huge. It's going to have, you know, interesting dungeons. There's going to be a lot of cool tool sets for you to use. There's going to be a lot of puzzle solving. It's going to be a huge epic adventure. You're going to feel good about yourself. And there's always going to be some sort of gimmick. Like, I kind of got a little tired of that. You know, the time-traveling gimmick, there was one of them. You had the masks in one. You had a wolf. You know, you had the dark zone. You had flying. You had... I don't know. I forgot what else was in Skyward Sword. Motion control, did not care about that. I did not care for that at all. But there's always some kind of gimmick. Maybe there's a train. Maybe there's a ghost. I don't know. It's always something. And none of that stuff really stuck with me. Like, I've played the grand majority of them. I've beaten maybe half of them. But they were never really on my Doppler radar for something I had to have, like, on launch date. I've never had a Zelda on launch date, and most of the ones I've played, I played them far, far into the future after they were released. This is the first Zelda game I've ever felt the need to buy immediately, and I think the reason for that was it totally breaks convention. It's pretty much, it's the Metal Gear Solid 5 of Zelda games, where you're just dropped in the middle of nowhere.
True.
You're resurrected after 100 years in some fucking carbonite liquid Gatorade. You wake up, and you're just on this big-ass plateau. And after a little bit of... It's a very minor tutorial segment where you just get a parachute, which you absolutely need. Then the world opens up, and the main quest opens up, and it just says, defeat Ganon. That's it. Defeat Ganon. Now, what you want to do with that statement, that's up to you. You can just run right to the castle and get your ass kicked, or maybe you can beat them. There have been people who have beaten the game in under an hour. Like, it's
already, it's on
possible.
speedrunner radar. It's crazy.
It's possible, and you know what? Yeah. you don't have to do that. You can go to the far corners of the world and get the help of these ancient divine machines, or you can stumble across the fucking Master Sword in a totally optional quest. I stumbled across the Master Sword in a Zelda game, totally unabetted and unassisted from any single NPC. Not a soul mentioned the integral item in the entire series to me. I stumbled on to the Master Sword in a random forest.
Wild.
It's amazing.
Every game makes a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's the quest. Like, it's what bridges the two. Yeah, pretty much most of the Zeldas that at least the ones I played, were, you know, split in two, and the Master Sword is the divider. Like, you find that,
and
you.
It's not required to beat the game in this. You could go through the game, and I suppose, you could beat Ganon without this sword. I mean, I'm pretty sure it makes things easier. I don't know. I don't have it yet, but I found it. But I have to still kind of prove my worth to pull it out of the stone. It's like a sword in the stone kind of thing, where I still have to do a little extra to pull it out of the pedestal. I don't want to spoil too much about this, but there is a little bit of a callback to some of the older games, and I think people who like the N64 games will appreciate it as well. But stumbling across this random forest and seeing the Chiron just say Lost Woods was one of the coolest fucking moments ever. Just randomly stumbling into the Lost Woods and figuring out how to get out of the Lost Woods, and just walking into this clearing. And I don't want to spoil the whole presentation of it, but it's such a satisfying feeling, and that's really the crux of why this game is so goddamn good, because you never really stop exploring places, and you never stop being rewarded for discovering things. It is a constant reward for all your efforts. You might find some item that upgrades your shit. You might find an entirely new town, or side quests, or shrines. That's kind of the new thing with this game. There are 100 shrines, 120 maybe, and they're all kind of little miniature puzzle rooms. And you get an orb, or you get kind of a very special item at the end of most of them. And for every 4 orbs, you can upgrade your hearts or your stamina meter. And that's another thing. That's another thing why this game is so goddamn good. I want to just call back 2 years ago, or many years ago actually, Todd Howard, who does the Bethesda games, the Fallout games, very famous for saying, oh, if you see that mountain over there, you can get to that mountain. Now, of course, he's full of shit. You know, Todd, I love you, but you're so full of shit. Like, you can never get to that mountain. There's no way.
Well, if you do, it's not nearly, it's not the same mountain that you saw from a distance.
No, and you can't get up that mountain. It's probably like the base of a mountain. No.
Yeah, you can get to the invisible wall at the bottom of the mountain.
Exactly, yeah. Now, with Zelda, not only are you able to see every fucking mountain in the distance, you are able to get up every single thing you see. You can get up and traverse everything. The draw distance to this game is insane, and it's thanks to the new climbing mechanic in the Zelda game, which is so goddamn good. It's basically amounting to a cross between Assassin's Creed and Uncharted, but only in the most base sense. You have a stamina meter, and depending on the weather or the incline that you're at, climbing might be easier or harder. You can kind of take some leeway with it. You can do a bit of jumping up there too. You can do some slides down some sharp inclines. It gives you a lot of leeway with it, but it's really satisfying. You really have to put in actual work into some of the climbing. You have to really measure out, can I make it up here before my stamina runs out? Can I really reach that last cliff with one more jump, like up the steep hill? Like, can I make it? Like, there are some really tense moments in this game where I think, I'm not going to make it. I really have to get up this mountain. And you just see the sweat drops pouring out of your character's face and the meter's burning out, and you just make it. You just press that button and you take one final leap and you just make it. And it's like, wow, I'm on the top of the world right now. And there's usually, like, I don't know, a Korok seed or some other blasé item, but it's such a treat climbing like these huge mountaintops, and then you see just the huge horizons that are awaiting even after that for you, and all these little landmarks and towns that you can see from a distance. It's just fucking great. It's unlike any open world I've ever played, because it fulfills all the promises it makes to you from the very beginning. You can see something, you can do something, and you're really making your own story here, because you're really choosing. I was
just gonna say that, man. Yeah. It 100% is like, from everything I've heard, and especially from what you just said, it's like, this was your experience. Like, you created this goal, and you went to achieve it, and like, there might not have been like a huge, treasure at the end of that goal, but like, you just went after something just for the hell of it. Like, I did this a lot in Skyrim, but I've been hearing and retrospectively looking back on that game in like a much more negative light. It's a big open world game, but like, I felt like all the adventures that I was making for myself were still kind of like cheap and like dinky, and like, I might not have followed the main quests and done much even side quests. I just ran off into, got myself in trouble by walking into a place. I think that would be so much more enjoyable in this world that Zelda is now, crafted and become a part of. And like, the experiences that everybody has are so interesting. Like, I could talk to you, I could talk to like 5 other people. Every story will be different, and they'll all be really good. Even if you're a bad storyteller, like, the way that this game works is like, you can't have a bad time. But I did want to ask about the stamina thing.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people kind of rag on it a little bit, just because they found it to be a little bit like over limiting initially. And so I heard some things about, up your stamina before you up your heart containers.
I would recommend against that for reasons I can't go into, but I mean, especially after I found out why I should be building up my hearts. I upgraded my stamina just once a little bit, but okay. I have to say, even before that, I never had problems. If you think about things before you go through with them, especially when it comes to climbing like huge structures and mountains,
Mm-hmm.
you can get up anything. Especially if you take the time to take advantage of another new mechanic they did, which is cooking various materials you find in the world. A lot of them can boost up your stamina temporarily, and if you're running out, you can just quickly just scarf down like a baked apple or something, and then it'll fill it back up a little bit while you're climbing. It's a new thing. You can just like eat a burrito while you're hanging on to like K2. I don't know how it happens, but he's a sharp guy, Link. He can eat while climbing up these mountains.
Well, he's always been pretty talented.
Yeah, I don't want to be I don't want to sound like a dick, but maybe they just need to get good at the fucking mountain climbing. I don't want to say that, but it really it never bothered me, honestly. It feels limiting in the beginning because it should. You're finding out what you're capable of. You got to feel out everything, you know? Like, for example, before I went to the main kind of shrines to build up my basic kind of abilities, I went off the cliff of the first mountain, and I knew this was the wrong way, but I didn't care. I was exploring. So I climbed down this mountain, and all of a sudden, this gigantic boss character, man, he comes out of the ground and he just starts smashing my face in, and I'm totally unprepared. I have no weapons. I have no shields. I don't know what to do, and he just kicks my ass, and I'm dead. You know, like, but it was a learning experience. I got killed by this thing, this giant mountain monster, and I just didn't know how to beat him. So fast forward maybe like 5 or 6 hours into the game, I'm climbing up a mountain. I'm doing pretty good. Like, I've got a solid grip on the mechanics, you know, literally and figuratively. I've got a grip on this now. I'm at the top of a mountain. I figure, okay, I'm just going to use this kind of as a safe passage to the next area. I'm just going to float down. But as soon as I climb up this mountain and I get to the top, to the peak, another one of these big mountains, this mountain monster comes out. It's another one. It's like his brother or something. But this time I'm ready. Like, I know how to beat him. I know how to use the mechanics to slay this monster. So I climb on him, Shadow of the Colossus style, and just start wailing on his weak point. And by now, I've got enough weapons. I know how to use my agility properly, and I just waste this guy. Like, he has no chance. He just crumbles into a million pieces of amber and dinosaur bones or whatever the fuck. But that's kind of the emergent storytelling that you get to tell in this. That's the kind of stuff you encounter again and again, where you know that you really couldn't do much the first time, and you think, all right, next time I'm definitely going to be ready for this. I'm definitely going to have more experience, more items, and the next time this happens, I don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe I'll come back, maybe it'll show up again. I'm going to do better. And that happens so often in this game, and it's a great feeling because you learn not by a fucking fairy telling you, or a fucking goblin, or a fucking talking sword like all the other games. That nobody's holding your hand. No one's telling you, you can't go there. You got to go to the so-and-so Temple of Jehudi or whatever the fuck. You got to get the fish stone. I don't know. You are never railroaded, no matter what. People will tell you, hey, this will help you. Hey, maybe you want to go in this direction. Hey, you know what's up that river? You know, I'll be over there. You know, I'll just, you know, hey, you want to visit? I don't know. Bye. Like, it doesn't matter. You can go wherever you want. Nothing. There are no gates. There's nothing like preventing you from taking the next step, and that's a great feeling because I know even though some people don't like the fact that you can find weapons and you have to forage weapons or whatever, you can actually get some really high-level weapons very early in the game and make things a little easier if you know how to find them. And that's a good thing, too. You don't have to seek out abilities. Like in the other Zelda games, you can't do certain things because you don't have the hook shot. You don't have the bombs. You don't have the mitts. You don't have the boomerang. It doesn't matter. In this game, I've never felt like I was gated by anything. I just had my very basic skills, and I used that to climb a tower. I used it to bomb a thing. You have everything you need after the first hour, and you're free to tackle anything in any order. And that sounds kind of basic, but there aren't really that many games that let you do that, you know? Like, there's not that many games that let you do that. I don't know.
No. It's truly incredible, but they also make it a little bit easy on you too. Like they make the checkpoints pretty close to you, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's true.
you fail, and like yeah, like your relearning process isn't excruciating like it can be, from what I've heard of Dark Souls, but um,
Yeah.
from my personal experience in Enter the Gungeon, like if you I still haven't beaten this game, man. It's crazy, but like every time I play it, I could spend an hour playing it, get really far, and just get crushed. And then I have to play an entire hour and a half or whatever again
Yeah,
just to get
yeah.
to that point, and it's still not going to be guaranteed the same. So, I really, really want to check this game out.
It auto
And I
saves quite a
will.
bit, yeah.
I am saving my Zelda Breath of the Wild for when I get a Switch. That will certainly be a game I want to play on that. I do have a Wii U. I just don't. I don't know. Do I want to spend the $60 now or put that towards the Switch and then end up getting it down the road? Like I'm really enjoying everybody else's stories about it though, and yeah, it's been real interesting. Like I still feel like I know nothing about this game, even though I've heard so many things.
There's so much shit that I could get into about like the characters and the writing. It's very funny. I don't want to spoil too much, but there is one story. I think this really shows how far they've come in writing entertaining shit in Zelda. There's this one guy. It's the classic cuckoo quest where you have to round up the cuckoos, and there's always that
Yep.
cuckoo quest. I love it. And he's just crying and screaming about his cuckoos, and he says his wife left him because of his cuckoos. And and if you go inside this man's house, he has a journal, and he details the whole fight he had with his wife, where she said, "It's either me or the cuckoos." And
Oh my god.
you get to the next page, and it just says, "I chose the cuckoos."
Yeah, clearly.
It's so funny. But what's even funnier is that if you explore around town, and you finish this one quest for this other lady. After you finish the quest, she makes an offhand remark about how nobody does anything for her, especially not her deadbeat husband, who she separated from, who's obsessed with cuckoos.
Oh my god,
It's like,
that's so good.
and if you go inside her house, there's just a bunch of pictures of cuckoos that he left all over the place. It's so weird, and I really like the towns in this one. They're pretty small. They're pretty lively though. They've all got kind of different themes. Like one is clearly influenced by Japanese culture, the way they dress, the structures that they live in, and another one is like more European.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, oh man, the characters are pretty cool. I once tried to jump off a bridge and some guy tried to convince me not to commit suicide.
Oh my god.
He said, "Oh, it's not worth it. Do you want someone to talk to?" And he just went through this whole thing. Like it's just,
That's dope.
it's so weird. And a lot of the
Dude.
landscape is very diverse. I mean, it has a lot of biomes, obviously, like the desert and the Zoras or whatever. And it's got like
Right.
4 races and a bunch of stuff. I've only explored, I think, 50% of the map. It's nuts.
Wow.
But you're constantly being shown new shit in this game. Like you could keep exploring and keep going in one direction, and you'll keep like getting things that kind of stop you, and you just have to know like what's down there. What is this guy talking about? There's a lot of subtle hints, especially in terms of quests. Like someone will just make a remark like, "I don't know where the Great Fairy is. Could you check up there? Also, there's this, and I don't know what the mystery of this is. And by the way, didn't you used to have a legendary sword? What happened to that? Well, good luck with that." Very subtle stuff, and it really makes the world feel like a very mystical place. And you've been asleep for 100 years, too, in terms of the storyline. So
That's pretty crazy.
It is. You're like the Terminator that came back, and everyone's like, do you remember me? Do you remember what happened here? Like,
Yeah, but like I'm very curious as to how that plays out, like how that story plays out, because like it doesn't seem. I mean, it's not linear, right? Like you can walk to whatever town and talk to whoever you want to, and like you're progressing the story by interacting with people and learning more about yourself. But like, if you've been asleep for 100 years, is this directly tied to a previous game that they've released, or is this like?
I'm gonna
I mean, I don't want
say,
to get into the
yeah,
whole like timeline bullshit for
yeah,
Zelda
yeah.
because that is a heaping
I don't care
pile.
about that. It's
But
just,
I am curious because like with an intro like that with the like premise that kickstarts you having slept for 100 years, it feels like there must have been a connection to something else
they were definitely
prior.
playing a lot of Ocarina of Time for reasons that will become obvious. I mean, as far
Hmm.
as certain landmarks are named after, I think Ocarina stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Like one is called Tall Tall Mountains, and that's from Wind Waker. And the
That's actually from even earlier.
oh yeah, you're right. It is.
That I think most of the lore, like the the core of like the locations and lore come mostly, I want to say, and man, I'm going to get shat on if I get this wrong, but I want to say a lot of it came out of A Link to the Past. I think Adventures of Zelda or Adventures of Link
Yeah,
number two probably had some influence into where we are now with the whole Zelda story, but I think the majority of what we got, like the fleshed out lore, comes out of Link to the Past and on. But yeah, I think Tall Tall Heights and Tall Tall Mountain
yeah.
might have started with Ocarina of Time or whatever shortly before that. So I could be way wrong. So, but I do think that was earlier than Wind Waker, which is still that game was dope. Uh, the story of how they got the aesthetic for this Zelda is kind of cool too. Like I can't dive into it, it knowing all the actual details because I didn't sit in on the talk. But they um, mentioned that they came across using Wind Waker because they were working on HD. Like after Breath of the Wild had already started, classic Nintendo is form over, function over form.
Yeah, yeah.
So they start with the mechanics, they start with what feels good, and then they give it a skin. And the skin process was like they didn't want it to be realistic; they wanted it to be more artsy. But Wind Waker was just a little too. Uh, it would have been lost on a lot of people, so they scaled it back slightly from that, and that's what we got. And it's, whew, what a good looking game.
I think Wind Waker is definitely a good form of reference because I think they said this is what we wanted to do with Wind Waker, but we just didn't have the technology, and that's why there's so much empty space and empty ocean, and that drove me insane. Like
Same here.
you're just doing nothing sailing on this thing, but now here the traversal is pretty fun. You can climb anything, and also you can just kind of float down from everything with this little parachute. So it's easy to get around sometimes, especially if you don't want to climb down this giant mountain. Nope, you can just float down. It doesn't matter. And in some instances,
So cool.
you can surf on your shield. I don't think that's a spoiler. You can shield surf. It's awesome.
That's so sick.
You can do tricks.
So
You
sick.
can do tricks on your
You can
shield.
do tricks.
You can do tricks. Yeah, you can do tricks.
Dude. So this game, this game covers like a few other recent releases, Horizon Zero Dawn and Steep. It like mashes them together and then throws it into a little cartoony
Steeps.
form.
Oh my god! I tried the Steep beta, and I recorded I think 20 minutes of footage on it, and then I literally ended the video. I'm sorry, everyone. I just can't do this. It's so boring, and I just ended the video. Yeah, you can shield surf, but that I think I should address one of the bigger problems people have with the game, which is your shield can break, as can your swords. Like your weapon, what is it called? Your weapon decay or whatever. Or
Yeah,
your,
but is it really a problem? Like I could see people being angry
Yeah.
at this because it is a frustrating mechanic in other games. But part of the objective, from what I gather, is that it makes you it makes you a little bit more innovative when you're in a battle.
Absolutely.
And you have something break, you have to be quick on your feet. You steal a weapon, or you whip out another club that you have like hiding in your bag. It also gets you to try a variety of different weapons.
Absolutely.
Like that's something that like you can't latch onto one specific type of weapon. You can't just be a battle axe guy because your axe is going to break. So you have to be ready with that backup sword. And I just find that there's such a beauty in that alone. Like if you can make a game that forces people to try something and they find out that they kind of like it, like you've done something amazing.
I definitely agree.
Probably because I'm just that
it's
kind
not
of person.
Too big of a problem. Honestly, a lot of people have said, "Oh, these crappy swords, they break too often." Well, that's because you're using the sword from the first fucking hour of the game. Like a lot of the weaker ones, they're gonna break. Like if the value is low, it's gonna break. And as you make progress through the game, you get bigger and better weapons that will last longer. And even when you get like incredibly special weapons, like from certain shrines, like I've got like a futuristic fucking flame sword from Soul Calibur, it looks like, and I don't ever want to use it because I'm afraid it's gonna break. But when I know that I absolutely have to kick ass, I take this sword out and I just whoop on things. Like it's a great feeling when you actually pull out those certain special weapons. And if it breaks, you know, that's life, whatever. I had it for a while. But there are honestly so many items throughout the world that you can get. Like you just beat up enemies and take their weapons constantly. And to be honest, I'm just going to say this to kind of assuage people's fears. There are a lot of really great like knight weapons and knight swords and great swords and stuff scattered throughout the map, and they do respawn. So God forbid you lose all your shit and you've got absolutely nothing good. There's always going to be certain spots on the map where they will respawn, and you can always at least take note of those places and get those similar items back, and it really won't be a problem because you could actually just go through the whole game using fucking bombs. Like they're mostly for concussive purposes, but I used those bombs on a boss recently, and that really helped. You also have, you know, your bow and arrows, and the bows can break, though it takes a lot of stress to break a bow. And of course, your arrows are finite, like that's never changed. But yeah, really, combat is, I don't think it was ever the focal point of any Zelda game, honestly. And even like the N64 games, a lot of it was more about puzzle solving and adventure, and they have enough of that in this game. There's a lot of exploration that definitely is the focal point of the game. The combat is fine. It's manageable. It's not like a fucking plat game. It's Zelda. Like, it's serviceable. It's fine. But I think one of my bigger gripes is when the combat is unavoidable, and that's with the boss battles. And I've done maybe one or two of the big boss battles, and they suck. Like, you just have to throw everything at these things, and sometimes damage is just almost unavoidable. It's like such huge attacks, and you're just going to be scarfing down all your healing items. I feel like it's kind of like Resident Evil, where you're saving your ammo and you're saving your shit because you know there's a shitty boss battle right around the corner. Like in Resident Evil 2 and 3, like the old games, you're saving a lot of that shit because you know, well, I'm going to have to save like all my good shit and have to use it all on this boss battle, because if I don't give it everything I've got, I'm not going to get past it. And I felt like that for the bosses so far in this game, and it's definitely a weak point, and I've never ever felt that bosses were a strong point in the Zelda series at any point in time. There have been some inventive ones, there have been some creative ones, maybe some fun ones. I mean, I'm sure by now everyone knows that I've come to go to war with this goddamn sanctity of this series to begin with. So maybe my points aren't even valid. I don't know. But the bosses that I have fought, they weren't that fun. They were not really a high point in the game. Everything else is great. But those bosses so far are just kind of a pain in the ass. I got through them, you know. It's definitely something anyone can get through, especially if you have enough arrows. I think that's the moral of the game. Always carry like 50 fucking arrows, because arrows are so useful in this game. It's unbelievable. It is just unbelievable. If you remember anything from what I said, just remember, carry fucking arrows, please. Just carry like 50 of them. Carry 100. Like, you're gonna need them all the time. All the time.
Yeah, and
that's Zelda.
That's fucking Zelda.
That's fucking Zelda. I highly recommend it. I'm nowhere near close to beating the game. I'm maybe like 25% like done with doing anything, but it's incredibly enjoyable. The reviews that it's gotten, maybe a little hyperbole there, but very well deserved, I think, in the spectrum of one of the best games released in a very long time. Definitely a template for them going forward, and how to make a Zelda game without, chaining you down to all of these restrictive systems and tutorials and instructional helper characters that suck the life out of the story. With this one, they barely give you anything, and a lot of the memories and threads to the past are very optional. Like, you might go through the game without knowing anything about your past, but if you go towards the effort to find those memories out for yourself and remember that you're actually Venom Snake, the leader of the Resistance, then you will be rewarded. Yeah, I don't think it's quite that dramatic. I don't know. Maybe I'm someone else. I don't know.
Can you helicopter sheep out of there?
You can. There are balloons you can attach to things, and they float up in the air. There's a hot air balloon item that you can acquire, and you can attach those to. So you can Fulton certain things, I think, in this game.
That's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. There's so much you could do. You could do so much crazy shit in this game. The physics, we're probably running out of time on Zelda, but the physics are fantastic. Like, everything just rolls around and just explodes and tumbles all over the place, and there's like a magnetic power, and you can freeze water, and the liquid physics are really, really good. They did a great job on that engine, and it makes everything so much fun, because everyone loves to blow up shit and watch all the stuff crumble everywhere and just conk people on the head. It's really fun to cause chaos in this game. You can be an absolute jerk. It's really fun.
It's one of the benefits of the open world.
Yeah, so I highly recommend this, and this is coming from someone who never cared about Zelda, but this is a very different experience. So, in your situation, Ben, if you want to wait for the Switch edition, go right ahead. But if you really, really feel that itch, you wouldn't regret getting on the Wii U. It plays fine, which I think is the last thing I should cover. What about the frame rate? I know a lot of people have said things about it, and I'm a frame rate jackass. Like, if something...
Yeah, I'm actually surprised this hasn't come up till now.
But that's why it's so good. Like, even all the reviews have mentioned it, but they still say, like, 10 out of 10, it doesn't matter, because it's really just that fucking good. And the points where it does kind of jitter a little bit are either in like a lightning storm and the thunder comes down and everything kind of gets fucking crazy, or if you're in a very crowded town, then the frame rate will kind of dip. Sometimes when you're in the midst of a very crowded fight, sometimes it'll get a little jittery too, but it never happened enough or severe enough to really impact what was happening. And I'm a guy who actually could not play The Witcher 3 on launch day on PS4 because the frame rate distracted me too much. I mean, I think they fixed it eventually, but I bought it on PC instead, and I liked the frame rate on the PC a lot better. So that's how much of a frame rate stalwart I am. But I would compare this to Bloodborne, and people fucking love Bloodborne. I mean, I'm sure there's a whole fucking cult surrounding it. It's Dark Souls, it's Bloodborne, and people don't really care about the frame rate issues in that game because it really doesn't impact anything too badly, and it doesn't really impede your enjoyment of the game, because what matters is smooth in the game, and the small moments where it does kind of jitter, it's nothing too game breaking. It's nothing deal breaking. So that's really my final statement on the matter. It does happen. It's not perfect, but overall, it's solid. I think overall, it's nothing like fucking Uncharted. It's not going to be like solid 30 frames per second the whole ride, but it's good enough, and the game is fantastic enough to overlook even those moments. So I think that's my final word on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to playing it.
I've been talking about this one for a long time. There's so much shit.
Yeah. There will be a lot to unwrap on this for like a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what else have you been playing though? Did you end up you got into Nier a little bit?
I've got Nier. I don't know how much I can say about this game. And
that's fair.
There's so many
layers.
Fair. What I can say is that there's not much I can say, because if I explained why I can't say things, it would spoil too much. If that makes sense. That doesn't even make
fair.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's something about this game which I'm sure many reviewers have already talked about, but I don't want to talk about. There's a very certain quality about this game that makes it necessary to keep going, and you don't know that you have the whole story until certain points, and even then you're not even sure that you have the whole story, and you just kind of, oh man. It sucks not being able to say more about it, but it's a platinum game in a lot of ways, just the combat and the quality of life on it, but it was also produced by Square Enix, and it was written by an absolute madman, so it's more along the lines of like films like AI or Blade Runner, because what I can say is humanity has lost the Earth, they now live on the moon, and now they employ an army of gothic Lolita soldiers to take back the Earth. The story is batshit. It's just androids trying to take back the Earth from these weird, strangely charming robots, and as you play through the game, you're kind of saying, oh, this is great. Like, this is almost like Bayonetta. I'm just doing cool shit constantly with swords and guns and, like, laser beams. It's nuts. Like, and you can customize your character in a lot of fun ways. But as you go through the game, you start feeling bad about killing these robots. I mean, they've got babies, or at least they think they have babies, and they start thinking that they have emotions. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, and you kind of have to convince yourself, am I doing the right thing here? Well, this robot is evil, I better kill it, but I could swear they said they were part of a family, and now I feel bad. It gets very strange, and the strangest part about this game is there are so many play styles, because at one point it'll be like almost Bayonetta, like 3D action, and then it'll turn into a 2D kind of Vanillaware, like Muramasa Demon Blade kind of fight, and then it'll turn into like a top-down shooter, and then it'll turn into like some Macross mech like kind of fight, and it covers so much ground and so many gameplay styles at once, and sometimes consecutively. It's such a fresh game with so many weird ideas and so many constantly morphing gameplay styles. It's very fascinating, and for reasons I can't say, of course, it's even more fascinating how this narrative is constantly evolving and showing you different angles of the story and what's happening, and often from different viewpoints as well. And there are 26 endings in this game. I just want to throw it out there.
Absolutely, 26 endings.
There are 26 endings.
Well, even the character names are letter number, right? So
2B,
like,
yeah, 9S, like AB, yeah. A2, like to be or not to be. That is the question. It's very strange. It is an incredibly strange game, and the developer Yoko Taro is known for making just batshit games. If you've ever heard of Drakengard, or even the original Nier, which has almost no relation to Nier Automata, then you'll know what you're in for in terms of just ridiculous storylines and ridiculous characters. And I haven't even scratched the surface. I've played, I think, 12 hours of it, and I'm at a point where the story morphs, and I expect it to morph again, and change its colors and its thematics and its ideals again and again for at least 5 or 6 more times. Again, I can't really explain what I mean, but if you play this game, you'll understand after a while. But a lot of reviewers have said, it's an incredible idea. Not many people take this avenue of storytelling, but it's so weird. That's all I can say. But it's very unique. It's unlike any game you'll play this year, or any game I've played in many years. It almost reminds me of Metal Gear, how it plays with your expectations and keeps dashing them along the rocks. I've mentioned Metal Gear Solid 5 a few times in this podcast.
It's funny how many times it's come up in this podcast. You'd think that you work for them.
I'm getting that sweet Konami money, bro. That's right.
You replaced Kojima. Are you responsible for this heinous act on the Metal Gear Solid franchise that we're probably going to see more of soon?
I don't know. We've seen so many heinous crimes inflicted upon us in the name of Metal Gear. I don't know what anyone else's opinion is, but Metal Gear Solid 4 was god awful. So I don't know if I'm really gonna get that money now that I've mentioned Metal Gear Solid 4. But nobody can play that game anymore anyway. It's on one platform, and you can't play it on anything else. So that's sad, but it's a fact of life. It's never gonna be on anything else. I don't think they're not gonna really release it. But yeah, Kojima tangent aside, Nier is a very strange game. I'd encourage you to just buy it blind. Don't look up anything about this game. If you've ever played Bayonetta, this might be your shit. It doesn't have the depth or the constant combat like Bayonetta does. Mm-hmm. It's not quite that serious or fancy free. It's just it's many game styles rolled into one, and hopefully you'll get into the narrative, and hopefully you'll stick with it. Because some people don't understand that the game just keeps going and going and going. And I know the fact that I mentioned 26 endings might scare people, but this is also something I can't elaborate on. This sounds like the stupidest shit review ever. I can't tell you why this game is good. I can't tell you why it's bad either. You just it's just the most ridiculous thing, but I haven't really played that much of it, and you're just gonna have to find that shit out for yourself.
Well, that's fine. More mystery the better, I think.
Yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't more help, everybody. Just buy the game. I'll refund it if you don't like it.
Sure you will.
Yeah, so that's Zelda and Nier.
We've been going at it for a minute here. We
have some time for River City Ransom, right? I think.
Yes. Would you rather do that, or do you want to do maybe a topic? We've got some topic ideas.
We got some topic ideas. Yeah, it's good that we mentioned Metal Gear Solid 5 here, and Fallout, actually.
Oh, for sure.
Previously.
Yeah. Not without their issues, but still well-revered games.
Yeah.
We could talk about River City Ransom Underground. I've got a lot to say about it, but also maybe nothing. It's an interesting situation. We might as well dive into it.
Yeah,
River City Ransom Underground is a recent release onto Steam. I don't believe it is. It's certainly not available on consoles yet, but no. I don't know what the scale is on the computer spectrum. But I should have wrote down the name. I don't remember the name of the developer. Conatus?
I think so. Yeah.
They full on bought the rights to River City Ransom, so they own, as far as I understand it, River City Ransom, the name and the storyline. So that's why they made a direct sequel to the River City Ransom games, calling it Underground. It is
it's owned by someone else.
Arxis
Works, I think, too.
Yeah, they I think that's a Japanese
That's a
the
subsidiary,
ones
I
that
think,
own,
or something.
yeah, they own the Japanese sector of that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if this has reached that scale. I don't know what the language setup is for it. Actually, I should look into that for more games. Um, yeah, actually, I would like to know more about the backstory of this, but you can actually find out all about that on Conatus's website. So just search River City Ransom Underground, their name will show up, or search Conatus, yeah, Conatus, I believe. I could be way wrong. That would be real dopey of me. But it was a kickstarted project. It's taken a long time to get out.
Oh yeah, it's been like 3 years or so, I think.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I still think that they kind of rushed things a little bit too much, but what I'll say on that is it retains so much from the original to a fault. Like there are things that we have grown up and out of in video games, like mechanical issues that the reason that they existed in the first place was limitations to the hardware and what they could fit onto a cart and stuff, and they made sacrifices, and sometimes it made things a little choppy, but that's kind of it. Like an iconic game from the 90s and 80s is iconic because it broke barriers at that time. It broke new ground.
Yeah.
And this one, unfortunately, is just repeating too much to be like, it's a good game. It's just not a GOTY candidate. It's not something that has mass appeal. It's something that has
classic
niche appeal,
right?
Classic appeal,
yeah.
retro gamer appeal, and there's something to be said for that. It's really, really beautiful. The animation sprites for your fighting and combos is really smooth. It looks really good, especially compared to the originals. And it's really nice to see essentially a Kunio-kun game brought to life again. It's cool to get that classic art style back into action, and they've added a whole new slew of stuff. I guess we should break that down little by little here, but
yeah, the animation is obviously a step above. The move list is a lot more advanced. What else?
Yeah, you've got more than two buttons that you
yeah,
can play
that's
with,
right.
so
yeah, you have a block
it
button.
changes a lot of your options. And apparently even within that there are some secrets. But yeah, it's... Do you want to go into gripes first? I mean, I've already listed a number of them. I might as well just keep going on that path. We'll do bad and then good. We'll end on the good news for this game.
The good news. Good news for people who love bad news. I'm going first. So,
Jesus.
my thing about the game is, they don't tell you that much, and they're a little obtuse about it. It's not like Dark Souls or something where it's like, oh, you just learn as you go, and this is a cool thing. But we're always going to give you like at least a description. Well, when you go into a shop and you buy an item, it never tells you what stats it raises or how much health it restores. And even the moves you buy, you have no idea what the fuck this move is, or even if you need a prerequisite move for it.
This is an example of that archaic
retro
stuff that I was talking about. Yeah, like it's a failure to communicate to the player and to take that feedback from those previous games. Like, they couldn't fit descriptions in the game because the game was so limited in space. You can do it now. Like, there's no reason not to. And like, if anything, you should at least know what the stat boosts are after you've purchased it once. That's the thing. Like, I can handle a little bit of mystery. I can spend $60 on an item and be like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have spent that $60.
Right. No do-overs.
But it should at least be transparent about what it does. Yeah. And, like, even after you buy it, the only way to really, like, if you're paying attention to your whole screen, which I am notorious for not doing, you'll see it's the dialogue strip at the bottom, and it tells you once, and then if you leave that area, or if you go into the pause menu,
or if you press a button,
it removes that. Yeah, it disappears, and you don't know what you just did. Like, that's kind of a problem. But sorry, I didn't want to derail you, but
no, go ahead.
just to kind of like heads us up, like these are all things that theoretically can and might change in the near future. Like these guys have already issued 5 patches for this game. It came out at the end of February, so like there's hope.
There's a there's a certain quality of mercy about it where they've been good about the patches. They've been good about updating it, I think. So there's definitely that hope that things will improve. Certainly the grind is a little better because they installed new starting moves for every new character. Like I don't know what character you started out with, but I was the boxer and he didn't have shit. And it was really tough, especially in the beginning, but they added some new special moves to him that made it a little easier on those beginning stages. And you will get your ass kicked, absolutely, at the start of the game. And it takes a while to get more confident in your abilities and your ability therein to take on these massive crowds of enemies, because you will be overwhelmed at certain points. And sometimes it's better to run than to fight, especially if your health is in the red. And I think that's another complaint. There are not that many safe zones where you can heal. Sometimes I just have to run like all the way back, like several blocks, just to wipe my ass in that sauna and just get my health up.
Well, and then you run the risk of getting knocked right back down to that low health by the time you get to that area that you were just at prior. So it is this weird setup. Like I did notice that like as you progress, like that whole system makes more sense and kind of becomes more workable.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's still weird. It's like they give you all those item slots so that you'll use them, but like I don't want to spend all my money on stupid food items that will like marginally increase my health. Like I would really appreciate more of either items that are more impacting or just like more areas that you can breathe, because it seems like from what I understand, the original River City Ransom, and actually I played some of it. I haven't beaten it, but if you walk into a shopping district, there are no enemies there. In this game, that's not the case. You're getting bombarded with the same enemies in every area non-stop, unless you find that safe house. Like you're kind of screwed.
You're kind of fucked.
Yeah, and it's tricky. It just suffers from that. It's overly like rose tinted glasses effect. Like they took it too literally what fans might want from the originals. Like they took the original suggestions list after the first River City Ransom game came out and were like, I don't know. It's an odd one.
It is odd, but I think it'll
thoroughly
improve.
enjoy
I have
it,
faith
but
in it.
yeah, faith in it is a absolutely valid, and especially since they're pushing for the whole online setup, and I think that's super cool, because all the beat 'em ups that I've played recently really push you to do couch co-op, and unfortunately, at my age and like in my life, I don't have enough people over ever to be able to do something like that. So, and much less convince them to put it on at their house when I happen to be over. So, it becomes kind of tricky. But it is good that they implemented a full-fledged multiplayer online setup right off the bat. There was something huge about this.
I need a baby mode of this game, I think, because when you were saying about like, I just don't have the time at my age to do this or that, like there's a lot of grinding involved in this game, and sometimes I just want to do cool shit. I just want to do cool moves. I want to be the breakdancer and spin around, and it's a while before you get all the moves and abilities. Sometimes I just want to wreck shit. I just want to go out there and fight an entire army, and I know I can't. There's obviously a level of progression there, but it's tough, man.
I think that it starts off a little too rigidly difficult by keeping it very hard to attain new moves. I guess comparatively, our in-between game between the original River City and this one, not including Tokyo Rumble that came out on 3DS last year, but I would say is Scott Pilgrim the game, and This is one of my all-time favorite games. I love most things Scott Pilgrim to begin with, but when I discovered the game, my mind was like blown, and I didn't know at that time that it was almost a 100% riff off of River City Ransom. And once I discovered that, I was mildly disheartened until I realized that it like did everything that River City Ransom couldn't do better.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it did it, and then it did it like the best way you could do it. There are certainly issues with that game, and unfortunately, I can't promote it or tell people to go out and check it out because we can't fucking buy it anymore. It was pulled off of the license expired from Ubisoft, and then they just pulled it from the internet forever.
That does
So
suck.
unless you already
Yeah.
purchased it, you can't get it. It is one of the best beat 'em ups you'll ever play. And they, 3 years later, added DLC character and like online mode, which is dumb that they waited that long to do it, but they did it. At that point, the game was dead, and they almost lost the license already. So, um, yeah, it's so good, but I feel like if the River City Ransom Underground guys want to gain anything and wanna put anything forward in this game, um, take a step back from what your fans are saying and look at what Scott Pilgrim did and why that game was so successful.
It was very
Because the
frantic.
fluidity of
Yeah.
it was huge. What's that?
It was very frantic, and it was. You were saying, I think it was very fluid. It was it was very high octane, and there were no points that you had to stop and run back and take like a piss break. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it runs differently. It runs more like Turtles in Time or
Don't remind me of Turtles in Time. Shit, I love
it,
Turtles in Time.
it plays like a classic beat 'em up in that it locks you into an area. You have to beat all the enemies, and then you can move on. So that's something I've started to grow an appreciation for in Underground. Is that like I might not want to fight enemies all the time. I might be sick of running past them, but like when you need quick cash, it's there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you want to beat up 10 dudes and make $5 or whatever, like you can do that. In Scott Pilgrim, you'd have to replay an entire level just to gain a certain amount of money. So, in that sense, it was cool. But for what Scott Pilgrim was, I think it played really well. It was intending to tell a specific story and keep you on a linear path. It did that. It took mechanics from old beat 'em ups, made them feel new again. The fighting was fast and fluid. Enemies were difficult, not impossible, and they might have been, you might have had to play them a couple times, but it's like any other game, you have to practice a little bit to get better at it. So, and the unlocks in that game came from leveling up, which was cool. You didn't have to go out of your way to buy them, but I think you could buy certain things, like you could buy a special move at some point later in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was cool. And I think I've spent more time talking about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, than River City Ransom Underground, which is a sin. But yeah, I think they could take a lot from that, and really gain something from it.
There's room
But
to
yeah,
grow.
there's
Yeah.
so yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to say. Is there's a lot of opportunities for like mods to come in, like user-made mods. There's there's going to be like a
Steam
ton of
Workshop,
updates
yeah.
and bug fixes. Yeah, so we're going to be seeing some good stuff from this
I
game.
hope I
in
can
the
play as a
future.
duck. You hear that, Kanakis? I want to play as a duck. What the hell is with this duck
You don't want to play as
stigma?
a chicken? We get him to work with the Yakuza 0 guys. You can play as a chicken.
Oh man, I'm sad. I don't have any. We definitely don't have any time to talk about Yakuza, but I'll plug my website at the end, and you could just read my huge goddamn review about it later, everybody. So it'll explain everything better than I ever could talking about it. Honestly, I wouldn't even know where to start. That's my game of the year so far. That's my game to beat, I think. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, with that said,
We got no
man.
time left.
I know I was slightly looking forward to one of the topics you had mentioned
We could
earlier
keep going, guys.
this week. Technically, we could. I just want to mention this one thing. We don't have to break into this topic, but it plays into what you were talking about earlier, and you even brought it up very briefly. It was Zelda and the handholdy part of Ocarina of Time, and the topic you had suggested is worst NPCs.
Yeah.
Navi is easily one of the worst NPCs I've ever
All of
made.
the helper characters, man. Like, I don't care about Midna or Fee or Fi, Siri, whatever you want.
Even Tingle isn't that bad if you look at how bad Navi is.
Tingle is a
to
fucking
that game.
creep, man.
He is a creep.
He's a creep.
But man, Navi actually hinders parts of the game. She interjects when you walk into an area and says, "Hey, listen. Hey, how about you fuck off?
Hey,
I'm playing a
listen."
game." Like, hey, you listen, Navi. Get the hell out of here. But yeah, no, I just wanted to bring that up because it did slightly come up earlier. And Navi is the fairy of handholding.
Yeah, worst NPC for me. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin. There's so many NPCs. I'm gonna say everyone from GTA 5. How about that? Every fucking character.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Every fucking character. Like, I know, I know there are a lot of entertaining characters in that game, but holy shit, I couldn't even finish that game because every fucking character is just so annoying. Holy shit. I wanted to replace them all with, I don't know, ducks. Rockstar, if you're listening, can you make a game with ducks that just like
steal
steal
want
cars?
These ducks, man.
I just want ducks, man. Like, have you
satisfy Steve? Put some ducks in your game, please.
And please don't misread that. There aren't. I hope nobody makes a typo. I don't want dicks in games. We have enough of those. I want ducks, please.
There's plenty of dicks in games.
Plenty of different games with dicks inside and out.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you guys have heard of genital jousting, then there's your dick game.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, you can't stream it, so you're just gonna have to look that one up yourself.
I don't wanna talk about that.
No. I think that's the goal. I think they triggered something in society.
Oh, they triggered something. All right.
Well, we should wrap up. This has been a good first official episode.
I'm calling this episode 2. I'm calling it episode 2. Yeah, that's right. I'm calling it episode 2.
Full of references to episode 1.
Yeah. Continuity.
Yeah. Do you wanna do your shout outs? Got any thing you wanna promote or bring up?
Shout outs to Pizza Hut. Shout outs to KFC. Shout outs to
you fast food whore.
No, I've got a site right now. I still have to make the .com for it, but for now it's snessteve.weebly.com. I made it with Weebly, so hence the website name. That's SNESTEVE.WEEBLY.com, and then there you'll find all of my stupid little articles and reviews on games. I have my best of 2016 up there, and right now I've got my For Honor review, which I haven't talked about here because it's not fucking worth my time, and my Yakuza 0 review, and shortly I should have my Resident Evil 7 review up there as well. So that's the place to be if you want to read more of my stupid words coming out of my mouth. Also, shout outs to Taco Bell. Ben?
Well, with that said, shout out to the Crunchwrap Supreme at Taco Bell.
Good one.
No, I want to put in a plug for Snese. He did our intro music. That is SNESEI. That's correct, the misspelling of Sensei. You can find his I wouldn't say full discography, but he's got a lot of tunes on SoundCloud. So go to soundcloud.com/Snese.
He's so good. He's so good. I love him.
He is. He's a really good artist. You should actually check his stuff out.
Yeah.
We're not just being dicks. Like, he did our intro. It's super dope.
He's fucking great.
He is a really rad artist. I was just talking to him about his tunes yesterday. I want to talk about my friends at Detroit Arcade Club. They are hopefully going to promote this show for us too, so yeah, we gotta plug them every now and then. But yeah, I do a Twitch stream for them Monday and Friday called Morning Glory. That runs super early in the morning, at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Wow, early.
And yeah, it's super early. But it's the only time I get to squeeze it in because I can't stream at night. I can't do it. But my friends run shows on there as well. We used to be a little bit more consistent. We're now posting the schedule on Sunday, and kind of rolling with it from there. So yeah, it's been a good experience streaming with them, and they've got some good shows. They actually do their own podcast as well, but this one's better, so listen to this one. But I also want to give my Twitter handle is at BlipFever, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been a good cast. I hope you guys check out Night in the Woods and Breath of the Wild. If you didn't have enough incentive already, I hope Steven really sold you on that, because I know I am. I really want to play it.
Yeah.
And Nier, good little tease for Nier. But Steven, you're absolutely right. Like, the stuff that I have heard about that divulges just a little too much.
That is, it's definitely a tease. Like, it's just like a tickle. Like, hey,
but
this
it's hard
happens,
to not.
but
Yeah,
also nothing happens. Like,
fuck it, you just can't. It's impossible. So yeah, I guess that'll do it this week.
Do it, yeah. So this is Stevie B signing off for the final message. Don't buy Mass Effect.
And this is Benny D. And next time you hear from us, you will probably have the opportunity to play Thimbleweed Park. So you should probably go do that. Look that game up. It's gonna be dope. What are you looking forward to, Steven? What's on your list?
What's on my list?
Yeah, what's the next game on your list that you want to check out?
The next game on my list is Persona 5.
Persona 5. Fuck yeah. Coming out pretty soon. That'll be the one that sucks up all of the people that were once in the Mass Effect. They'll be moving their way over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this has been a good show.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.